Crazy history facts you won't learn anywhere else. Part 1. Did you know that Thomas Edison had quite the shocking sense of humor? He once put on a jolting show by electrocuting an elephant, all in the name of demonstrating the perils of alternating current. A real shocker of an experiment. Before the 18th century, people thought that tomatoes were poisonous. In World War I, Canadian soldier Henry Tandy encountered a wounded German soldier but chose not to shoot him. Surprise. It was none other than the soon-to-be infamous Adolf Hitler. Talk about a missed opportunity. The Kama Sutra, an ancient Indian guide to love and all things amorous, traces its origins back to the 2nd century. Chapter 1, where the wheelbarrow position makes its debut. Quite the literal page-turner. The ancient Greeks believed that redheads would turn into vampires after they die. So if you spot a redhead at night, it's either a vampire or someone who forgot their sunscreen during the day. Charles Darwin was quite the adventurous eater. He'd sample any critter he discovered, even those that have since ghosted from existence. A real-life taste test evolution. Shocking history facts you won't learn anywhere else. Part 2. Did you know that Cleopatra, celebrated for her beauty and charisma, who supposedly decided to bid adieu with the help of a deadly serpent's nibble? But the twist in the plot suggests that she might have chosen a more pharmaceutical exit strategy, involving a mix of poison and medication. Oh, Cleopatra, always keeping us on our toes. Moving on to Napoleon, whose love for his dear Josephine was no secret. But here's the kicker. The man had a peculiar fixation on her aroma. He'd fire off letters and dispatch clothing drenched in fragrances her way. He even went as far as requesting her not to shower for a few days before his triumphant return from campaigns, so he could enjoy her natural essence. Now that's some next-level devotion. Then there's Genghis Khan, that legendary conqueror, who had an enormous entourage of ladies from across his empire. But wait, hold on to your hats. These ladies weren't just in his company for, well, romantic interludes. Nope, they were actually key players in the political game, like tools in a giant chessboard, strengthening alliances and keeping that empire in tip-top shape. Did you know that ancient Romans and Greeks reproduced so much that it caused a plant to go extinct? A herb called silphium was employed as a highly efficient contraceptive by the ancient Romans and Greeks. The odd thing is that they used it so extensively that it actually became extinct. Can you imagine that? Not only was it used as a contraceptive and in beverages, but silphium was also used for treating a variety of medical conditions such as coughs, sore throats, and indigestion. The significance of this extraordinary plant was even recognized by Julius Caesar, who stored an impressive stockpile of 1,500 pounds, 680 kilograms, in the official treasury. The loss of the silphium plant had significant consequences for the ancient Greeks and Romans. Without access to this effective form of birth control, the population of these societies may have grown at a faster rate, leading to increased competition for resources and potentially putting strain on their economies and environments. How did the 4,000 men of Baldwin IV beat the 20,000 soldiers of Saladin? Saladin, who later took over Jerusalem, commanded a vast army of between 15,000 to 20,000 warriors. On the other hand, King Baldwin IV only commanded a small force of 4,000 soldiers overall, and was composed of several thousand infantrymen and about 400 knights. Rather than passively awaiting a defensive battle for Jerusalem, Baldwin assembled his limited forces and took Saladin by surprise in an offensive maneuver. Despite the unfavorable numerical balance for the Christian forces, what significance do odds hold in the perspective of divinity? Baldwin's crusaders decisively overpowered Saladin's troops, capturing and slaying the majority. Saladin narrowly escaped on a camel, fleeing the battlefield.